Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Horse Guy Mike podcast, special Breeders' Cup edition, coming to you live-esque from Orlando, Florida. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Friday card for the Breeders' Cup, the 5 races on Future Stars Friday. We'll have a separate podcast going over the Saturday races. So with me tonight, my good friend Johnny the Wire, Mr. Wet Wine Weather, Andrew Herco. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing well. How are you, my horse guy, Mike?
Doing great. Happy to be back in the action. Been a little bit of a break since Saratoga, so happy to be back into the thick of it. So with that being said, we're going to jump in, keep this nice, short and sweet for Friday. Jump right into the first race, the race number 6 at Keeneland, the Juvenile Turf Sprint, going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. John, what are your thoughts on this race?
Well, so Friday's always kind of the toughest day for the Breeders' Cup. It's all the 2-year-olds. You know, they're still developing, so you never really know who's going to win. A good bet on this the Juvenile Turf Sprint to lead it off is always Wesley Ward, because that guy, you know, he trains his young horses to get speed early out of the gate and to be as fast as possible at as young of an age as possible. So I was looking at it. He won this race last year with Twilight Gleaming. And I'm not sure Twilight Gleaming has done anything since last year, but he's got another one in here with Irad Ortiz, Love Reigns. I think that's where you got to start. She's won her last race. She's won 2 out of 3 races. She went over to Royal Ascot and got 4th. So not a bad effort over there. I think, you know, obviously, I think if she can pop out of the gate and get into lead position, I think should be very tough. So I think Love Reigns is where you got to start, but obviously with them being 2-year-olds and a 5.5 furlong turf, there's other options you can have. I definitely would not single Love Reigns.
All right, Andrew, what were your initial thoughts on this race?
Initial thoughts. It's like the NBA All-Star game, you know, the rising stars, the 2-year-olds. You're not quite sure how good they're going to be. You think Franz Wagner is going to be a superstar, but he's just okay. So looking at it, didn't really love Reigns like John is. So I'm going to try to fade Love Reigns a little bit. I like Speedboat Beach. Great name. Has been throwing some bullet workouts in. Pretty good speed fig. So that's where I'm leaning. Speedboat Beach.
The Bob Baffert. We're already 2 horses in, and here we go.
Baffert's back. I'm back on the podcast. It's good.
I like both. I like both of your picks. John, like you said, Wesley Ward in these turf sprints, especially in Kentucky. Twilight Gleaming last year, Golden Pal the year before that. He gets some crank for this specific type of race, and he's unstoppable. The thing I don't like about Love Reigns is the layoff. 75 days since their last race. Hasn't raced since August. You know, kind of wondering what's going on there. The other horse I find really interesting in here, I have 2 other horses I like. The number 12 horse, who is your morning line favorite, the Platinum Queen. This horse won a Breeders' Cup win in your in race for the adult sprint. So its last race.
Oh, well, there you go.
In France. It won.
Prix de l'Abbé.
Yeah, that was against Olders, and it was a win in your in for the Saturday.
Oh shit! I didn't even see that. Oh my god.
So this horse is incredible. I have a hard time picking European horses in turf sprints because there's no turn. The fact that there's no turn in turf sprints in Europe is kind of a major differentiator between the 2 styles of racing. It's why a horse like Golden Pal can't win over there, just because their style.
He's terrible at Royal Ascot. We'll talk about that on the next pod.
They just run on a straight line, so the dynamics of the race are completely different. So here, like, you could be an amazing sprinter over there and fail at turns over here, and vice versa. So even though Platinum Queen is probably going to be one of the best turf sprinters in Europe going into next year, I don't know if, you know, I'm going to take favoritism on her here at a short price. I like Love Reigns, you know, from the Wesley Ward angle, but the other horse I am going to pick here, and it's kind of a stupid pick, but I love it. The number 10 horse, Tyler's Tribe, 15-1. This horse is all over Twitter as a feel-good story. Has never lost. Has incredible speed figures. Is an Iowa bred. Has a great backstory with the name and the connections. The jockey, a 12-year-old woman, or not 12. She's 20-year-old woman rider. Never ridden on turf
The
though.
kid Tyler is 12 years old that he's named for, right?
Yeah, I don't even know what you're saying right now, Mike.
No. There's,
Yeah, you didn't give us the backstory.
What are you picking,
Mike. You just said
Seabiscuit
this
right
horse is
now?
all- Yeah,
I think,
God.
like Tyler, who was named after, I think there's like cancer involved.
he
in
has
that story.
leukemia. He has
Yeah.
leukemia.
Okay.
But the horse has never
Yeah.
has never raced on turf, but it's dirt races are incredible. Like look at the speed figures, 86 buyer, 90 buyer, 94 buyer, 89 buyer, racing against Iowa breds. He's just blowing all these Iowa breds off their feet, and he shoots out of the gate like a rocket. And the thing you need in turf sprints going around one turn is that gate speed, that quick speed. He's going to get out in front of this crowd. I think Speedboat Beach is one of the only other ones that's going to kind of go with him. But he's been training really well on the turf.
Yeah, he's never raced on turf, so
He has not
First
raced on
amateur.
turf. He's out of Sharp Azteca, who could or could not be a turf sire. I think at 15-1 as a live long shot here, I think he's going to be my top choice.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't talk you off. I mean, he's definitely got the type of running style that you like. Going back to Platinum Queen, man, I didn't dig it deep enough on her. That was actually the second time she had raced against Olders. The first time was back in August, and she actually got second place behind Highfield Princess, who is like one of the top choices behind Golden Pal in the regular turf sprint. And she also beat Emirati Anna, who's in that same race. So the Platinum Queen with the far outside post, I mean, she's going to have a pretty comfortable trip. Man, she's looking tough. So I'm going to change my pick. I think the Platinum Queen might have to be the top pick in that race.
Yeah, I mean she's the morning line favorite for a reason. She'll be tough. So I think either you go with her, the Wesley Ward choice, or you kind of find one of these long shots to go with.
I mean, I might just include those two and then pick one more long shot. Andrew, do you have a long shot before I give mine?
I wrote down Persian Force, Dettori, European bred. It's racing some G1s before, got second in a couple, but don't love it.
Yeah, I mean, look, in the Breeders' Cup, like, you just never know. These horses running these grade ones, and yeah, they don't win, but who knows? Maybe they're still developing, like we said at the beginning. So I definitely wouldn't throw that horse off.
Yeah, I think he's ran some good workouts lately, so you never know.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's cutting back in distance. He's dropping some weight. I think he's got a good shot, especially 15-1. I love that price on him. I think you'll get it.
Yeah,
too.
that's the right type of price to get on a horse. I mean, he won a grade 2 back in July, so he's not terrible by any means.
Yeah, that's the perfect type of long shot. All right, perfect.
All right. Well, let me talk about mine. To go back to Speedboat Beach for Baffert, the only reason that horse is in here is because he has Cave Rock, which is that horse looks unstoppable in the juvenile dirt.
Spoiler,
and so Speedboat
Rock.
Well, yeah, Cave Rock is going to be very tough to beat. But if you look at Speedboat Beach, he started his career at Del Mar this year with a 104 buyer.
On dirt.
And then on the dirt. And I think Bob realized, like, oh crap, I have two monsters. How can Speedboat Beach not race against Cave Rock? And so I think that's why he sent him to the turf. And then he won his turf sprint. So here comes Speedboat Beach with a legit chance to win the Breeders' Cup turf sprint. So who knows? Maybe he will. But I just want to make that point that he's not really a turf horse. He's just in here because of circumstance relating to Cave Rock. And so my 15-1 long shot, though, is going to be our guy. He's over my shoulder, Tyler Gaffleone. We're America's #1 Tyler Gaffleone podcast for a reason. And he's on number 9, Sharp as Attack in here. This horse, he won his first 2 races at 5 furlongs on the turf. Came back in his third start at Kentucky Downs in a turf sprint there, 6.5 furlongs. Now, it looked like he took the lead down the stretch, but he actually got passed in the final furlong. So that's not really a problem for me because he was winning that race at 5.5 furlongs, and now he's cutting back to that 5.5 furlong distance. So You know, if he could get back to that 85, 90 buyer range that he was at, you know, maybe Sharp as attack with Gaffleone on board can kind of overcome that 68 buyer that we see on there and kind of bounce back to a more respectable number. So maybe I'll throw him on, and I like your guys' long shots too. So maybe it's kind of a race we could go deep and hopefully try to beat one of those top two choices.
All right, love it. So moving on to race number 7, the Juvenile fillies going a mile and a 16th on the dirt. Andrew, I'll let you kick this one off. Who's your initial top choice here?
Seems like the 5 Wonder Wheel and Chop Chop have dueled before, and their odds are kind of up there near the top. I like them both. I think they're both gonna, at least Wonder Wheel, try to get to the lead there and you know, try to set the pace a little bit. But I'm kind of liking Chocolate Gelato. Maybe yeah, what's so funny?
It's a great name, right?
It is.
You look like you like some chocolate gelato.
I do. And I like this one. I think it's going to kind of sit off the pace a bit and then finish home.
All right, so
Yeah,
Chocolate
I
Gelato
mean,
topic.
Won a G1 its last race. Not the best.
it's a yeah. Pletcher's been on fire over the last 2 months. It seems like all of his horses are winning every race they enter. Chocolate Gelato, no different.
You
No,
got
I
IRAD
actually
on board.
watched. What's that?
You have IRAD on board.
Irad Pletcher. Yeah, it's the top. It's the A list. Now, I was going to say, I watched the replay of that race, the Frizette. It was over sloppy track. And, like, they just finished so slow in that race. Now, I don't know if it was because of the sloppy track or not, but, like, I after watching that, I wanted to throw out all the horses coming out of that race, basically. Now, maybe I'm biased because the buyers are so low, and maybe it just was the sloppy track. And if they get back on firm track, they'll be a lot better. But I think it's a good time to kind of try to upset the favorite, at least in my eyes.
All right, so John, who did you land on? You did not land on Chocolate Gelato.
Did not land on Chocolate Gelato or any of the horses coming out of there. So one of these horses raced at Del Mar and kept beating me in Santa Anita. And I kept betting against this horse and it kept winning. And that is the 3-horse And Tell Me No Lies, or And Tell Me Nollies. I don't know. It looks like you want to say And Tell Me Nollies. So we'll go with that. She ran down like this Bob Baffert horse in that the Del Mar debutante. And I thought she had no chance in that race based on speed figures. And she looks like she has no chance based on speed figures. Only a 75 as her top buyer. But she's won a grade 1 and a grade 2 back to back. And it's like, she just seems to like grind out wins over there on the West Coast. And like, I think she might just have that kind of it factor where she wants to get up and win. So I can't obviously point to her speed figures and be like, oh yeah, she's going to be great. But just visually, like the way she wins, like she looks like she wants to be a winner, and she loves to fight at the end of these races. So I like And Tell Me No Lies as my top pick at 8-1. A little bit of a long shot, 2-year-old. Hopefully she's still improving. Daughter from Arrogate. Take it to the bank.
Nice. My top choice here initially was going to be the number 14 Raging Sea on the outside, but I don't like that 14 draw, so I'm actually going to go with the number 5 Wonder Wheel. And the reason I like both of those horses is they came out of the same race, the Alcibiade, here at Keeneland. Had the top 3 choices are all here. Wonder Wheel got first, Chop Chop got second, and Raging Sea got third. Wonder Wheel just kind of got on the lead and went wire to wire. Chop Chop came from 11th place and made a huge run. Couldn't quite get there at the end. But Raging Sea was right there, kind of in third, chasing the pace. Was hoping to get a better run, but she was closing. She was right there at the end. I think Chop Chop barely got by her. So it was close. And at 15-1, these horses were separated by a length. And I think 15-1 over 5-1, I'd rather take that. But I don't like the outside post. I don't like the 14 spot here. So I think Wonder Wheel, is going to be either on the lead or in second or third. And we'll get first run going down the stretch, or those other two are going gonna fade. The only other speed in this race, Grand Love and Shoplifter, You're My Girl. None of those horses are very good. I think even if they get on the lead, their cheap speed, they'll fall off. Whereas Wonder Wheel's got some better speed front running pedigree there. So Wonder Wheel at 5-1 is going to be my choice, even though Chop Chop probably ran a better race. I think she's going to get a lot of money. She'll probably fall below that 4-1 price. So Wonder Wheel is my favorite here. With Raging Sea is kind of a long shot at 8-1.
I like it.
I like what you said about the far outside post. That's so tough to win from the 14 post, especially for a 2-year-old horse. I mean, I think you were smart to kind of not go all in on that one. That's an angle I would like to. I'm going to use a lot this Breeders' Cup is tossing a lot of the outside horses.
I'm going to throw out my first exacta box: Wonder Wheel and Chocolate Gelato.
I like it.
There you go. Little. Now that's kind of a chalky exacta box, but this is the great thing about the Breeders' Cup is that it's still going to pay big.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's going to be so much money spread out that you can get away with that in the Breeders' Cup. That's what makes it great. I do have another long shot that I've looked at. I've heard about a little bit, and I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing on the form here. And that's going to be number 8, Atomically. This horse is now trained by Todd Pletcher, but if you look at the sheets, you can see that on October 1st, she ran up at Gulfstream, trained by Jose Pinchin. She won by 6 lengths in a restricted stakes, 83 buyer. And you can see like her last 2 races, she's won by 7 and 6. And so it looks like to me that Eclipse Thoroughbred, which is a big time outfit, they probably purchased this horse privately out of that race and then sent it to Todd Pletcher. So
that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. So, and now Luis Saez is getting on board, and Pletcher loves working with Saez. So man, I think you got to watch out. 12-1, and they think this horse has a lot of natural talent. Obviously, we don't know how much it was bought for, but you can imagine it was at least $500,000 to get thrown into a Breeders' Cup like this. So I'm thinking Atomically might be live in here at 12-1. So watch out for her. I think you got to include her.
I like that. I like that angle a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the next race, race 8, the Juvenile Filly Turf, going a mile on the turf track. John, kick it back to you to lead us off.
All right. Thanks. Here's the ball. I'm going to give you the rock because I don't know exactly who I like yet. So you speak and I'll come up with my final answer.
This is why I always give it to you guys first. I think I landed on Delight here, who's the number 9 horse. Back-to-back wins, improving. So she ran out she opened at Keeneland, went out to Saratoga, went out to Del Mar, finally broke her maiden out at Del Mar, came back to Keeneland, won a grade 2 at Keeneland, won easily by 5 lengths. So I always like when a horse wins at prep at the track that the Breeders' Cup is going to be run at. So winning a race at Keeneland is one of my bigger angles here for this year. On October 7th, won it by 5 lengths. Mendelssohn is the sire. Again, this race, you either, I don't even know how to frame it. Pick a random.
Pizza Bianca won it last year. Remember that?
Yeah, like this is the most wide open race I would say of
it's crazy.
The whole weekend is the Juvenile Fillies Turf, because you don't have the elite Euros. You don't have the Chad Brown contingent yet. So it's basically just throwing a dart at the board. And I think winning the local prep's the best indicator of performance. Then that's what I'm going to go with. So I landed on number 9, Delight. Andrew.
Yeah, my first thing in the notes, tough race. So like you were saying, tough race, but I was looking into it a little bit. I think I got a good one here. The 5-horse Pleasant Passage, 12-1, beat the 4-horse Free Look in the Miss Grillo last time out in October 1st, which is a pretty good indicator of how this race is going to go from my deep research into this race. So Pleasant Passage, Shug McGahee, Hall of Famer, with Irad on saddle, 12-1, beat Free Look out last time on a yielding turf, a little over a mile. So this might even be firmer, might even play more into the quicker start that Pleasant Passage likes to get. So that's where I've landed. Undefeated in 2 career starts. I'm feeling pretty good about it. And
Yeah,
then,
I looking at it, I really like that horse now.
Yeah, especially at 12-1.
yeah, 12-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great odds.
Free Look is Chad Brown's top horse, and she's 5-1, and then the
Yeah,
horse that beat her is 12-1.
I think that's the Chad Brown tax right there.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The Chad Brown tax. You got to pay up for Chad.
Yeah.
So why not take the horse that literally beat her last time out? And the good news is, like, she extended her lead by half a length down the home stretch. So it's not like she got out to a big lead and then held on. Like, she actually just stayed steady throughout the whole thing. So I kind of like that Pleasant Passage.
Yeah.
But I will say I came up with a whole nother horse that I actually really like a lot. So I'm going to go inside to number 2, Cairo Consort. She's coming out of a grade 1, the Natalma, up at Woodbine in Toronto. And that's a 1 mile race. Now, Woodbine's configuration is actually a 1-turn mile. So it's actually like a big, long sprint on the grass, which actually kind of helps, I think, a little bit, because when you do 2 turns, you're kind of, the horses kind of save their energy around the turns a little bit. So doing a 1-turn mile like that, I think, is even more, like, she ran even more distance than what would be required of her in this race. And she got second place by a length in that one to Last Call, who's the 3 horse. So she got second place in a grade 1 already. And then if you read the notes on her, she got blocked at a key point in the race with about a quarter mile to go. So she got blocked, and then she still finished decently to get second place. And being on the inside is really good at Keeneland on these 2-turn races, because you're hugging the rail and you can save ground. So hopefully Cairo Consort can kind of sit like kind of in the front of the group, maybe sit second and then power home to get the win. So I like Cairo Consort, but I also really like Pleasant Passage too. I like those 2 picks, and she's 12-1, and Andrew, your horse is 12-1. So a couple more bombs in there. Yeah, definitely a spread race.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even that horse that beat him Last Call is 20-1, coming off a win.
Yeah, with Frankie Dettori. Yeah, I mean, that's another. I'd like, if you have enough room on the ticket, throw Last Call in there.
Yeah, and even the 1 horse Comanche Country, 15-1, coming off 3 wins at Santa Anita and Del Mar. So not a lot of like speed figures that pop off the chart, but you got a lot of winners coming. Got a lot of good jockeys.
Yeah.
I
will say about the West Coast to East Coast turf angle is that, like, Keeneland almost always plays like good. It never plays like truly firm. So, like, when I'm handicapping these turf races, I kind of want, like, not the West Coast, because those tracks are always like concrete over there, basically.
Yeah.
Little keys for Saturday.
All right. So this is a race we're going wide in. We got Delight. Who is it? Who'd you guys have?
Cairo Consort.
Pleasant Passage.
Pleasant Passage. All right, top picks there. All right, moving on, race number 9, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, grade 1, going a mile and 16th on the dirt for basically males, but anyone. We got a monster here. We got Cave Rock. Bob Baffert trained, 101 buyer, 98 buyer, 104 buyer. No one else is even within 10 buyer speed figures of this horse. Won its races by a combined 20 lengths or so. How are we going to beat this horse? John, what's your strategy to beat Cave Rock?
The strategy is so last year when Bob came to the Breeders' Cup, remember, he had like extra security like throughout the week, and he had to hire like a private investigator, like independent, he had like his horses were blood tested and all that. That's how we beat Cave Rock. If Bob goes under the same conditions this year, maybe Cave Rock doesn't run a 105 buyer like he's been doing. Other than that, it's going to be pretty much impossible, I think. I mean, he's one of these horses, he gets out on a 1-2 length lead and then he just keeps extending it. and it never looks like he's going to lose. So, yeah, good luck.
Do you think Cave Rock is the most likely winner of the weekend?
No, that's going to be Flightline. Come on now. Because I will say this, doesn't it seem like every year there's always a major favorite in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and he always blows it? Like, remember Jackie's Warrior did that, and Bolt d'Oro did that.
Are
Like,
those
it's just
ever,
always
are those ever Baffert horses?
And didn't Baffert win last
no.
year with the big favorite?
Corniche, yeah.
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 Yeah, so Cave Rock is looking strong. The only horse that I will say that I do like just as a racehorse is Forte. That's another one that he came out and won that hopeful at Saratoga, like kind of came out of the clouds. And it was kind of like, whoa, where did that come from? And then he backed it up with another, he went back-to-back 92 buyers at Keeneland in the Breeders' Futurity. Now, he only won by a neck in that race, but they did clear the third place horse by 7 lengths. So I think if there is one horse that has a chance to beat K-Rock, if K-Rock just for whatever reason isn't on his game, maybe it's Forte running late because he is a late runner. He's going to sit off the pace. So, or maybe, maybe some unforeseen pace duels heats up, because that happens in Breeders' Cups too, where all of a sudden there's a pace duel out that you didn't see on paper and it kind of burns, just heats up the pace and burns everyone out.
Yeah. The only other horse even talk about is Blazing Sevens, won the Champagne by 3 1/4, 91 buyer there. That was on the slop though. Chad Brown out of Good Magic, who won this race. Good Magic didn't win. No, Mendelssohn won that year, right?
No, Good Magic won. Good Magic
won,
beat he beat Bolt d'Oro, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember because I had Bolt d'Oro.
Yeah. So Blazing Sevens is a live long shot there. It's funny you mentioned Forte. I'm pretty sure he's the favorite in the Kentucky Derby futures pools right now, besides the all other 3-year-olds category, because the Bafferts are technically in the all other 3-year-olds category right now.
Yeah, so I think that, I guess we don't really have to go through much more, but that's, maybe K-Rock over Forte, straight exacta.
Yeah, or Blazing Sevens, 1, 2, 3 right there. National Treasure, you can pick the other Bob Baffert, who, even though he lost, got a 97, which is still better than what anyone else.
I do like National Treasure. He's by Quality Road, who's a great sire. So, yeah, National Treasure, yeah.
I watched that replay. Cave Rock just blew him out, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like at this point you're trying to pick who's going to finish second. How's it?
Yeah.
How's the rest of the race going to end up?
Yeah. All right. So we're all on Cave Rock here, hoping something happens. But if we're doing a pick 5, just single Cave Rock and move on, spreading the other ones, especially with.
I might throw Forte in my pick 5 just in case it gets a little funky.
All right. Moving on to the last race on Friday, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Grade 1 going a mile. For the Colts. Andrew, we'll kick it off. We'll start with you. We do have a 3-1 favorite here. It's a pretty heavy favoritism for a race this big. Where'd you land?
I am leaning towards the 13 horse, Major Dude, coming off a G2 win. I just don't like the outside post though.
That's such a tough post on a 1 mile turn.
I don't like the outside post, so you guys could talk me into something else here, but I wrote down this is a tough race for me. But yeah, won a G2 over I'm Very Busy, which I kind of like. I'm Very Busy. He's 9-2, Chad Brown with Flavian Pratt on board. So beat that in its first race on turf. You got Pletcher, you got Irad. It's had some good workouts lately. So, this horse was a lot of money. Maybe it could get some momentum going on turf and pull a little upset here. You never know with these Friday races on turf at the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah.
I'll try to let you two experts sway me another way.
All right, Mike, you got something for him?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the number 2 horse, Paxa Wallop.
Okay.
Mike Smith. You're getting 6-1 on this horse. Has won 3 straight, by length and a half, 4 1/4 length, 2 3/4 length. Buyers improving. Started with the 43 in its maiden, 61, 76, 82. Good progression. Ran at Del Mar, ran at Santa Anita. hoping that turf, like you said, that turf form translates a little bit, but he's the best turf 2-year-old in the West Coast. So coming over here, I know we kind of consider Mike Smith to be over the hill, but he's still a good jockey. He won. I thought, never mind, forget that. But
never mind.
No,
He is over the hill.
Who's Jeff Mullins anyway? Who's this trainer, Jeff Mullins? Or can I point out that the wine I'm drinking has a horse?
He's a West Coast trainer.
Fire Steed,
that?
Pinot
Fire
Noir.
Steed that has a horse logo on it.
It's Oregon bred. But I just like this horse. Victoria Road's also another one. 3 straight wins in France. Got Ryan Moore, Aiden O'Brien. Those are going to be my top 2 choices, especially since they're on the inside too. So 1 mile turf, like you said, you want to be inside draw. I'll just take the 1-2 horses as my top 2 choices.
Yeah, you kind of stole my pick there. The number 1 Victoria Road looks like a pretty awesome pick on the paper. I mean, 3 wins in a row. He's doing it 7 furlongs, a mile and 1/8. So you can see he's extending his distance. And then the 7 furlong and the mile and 1/8, they were right-handed turns. So he's not just doing the straight races. He's doing the 1 turns over there. Won a grade 3 in his last time out. So I think Victoria Road being down on the inside is looking great as a pick, especially at 8-1 with Ryan Moore and Aiden O'Brien. I mean, come on, I think there's no way he's going to go down to like 4-1 probably, but still, I mean, he's going to be great value. I mean, for a possible big time horse, he might be like one of their better 3-year-olds next year. Who knows? But the favorite in here we haven't talked about yet is Silver Knot, number 4. Again, got a great post, being down on the inside ish in the 4-hole. But Andrew mentioned the Chad Brown tax earlier. Well, this horse is a little bit of getting the Charlie Appleby tax because Charles Appleby last year just dominated the Breeders' Cup out in Del Mar. I got my shirt on, by the way, from that last year. But Appleby won like 3 races on the turf at last year's Breeders' Cup. Modern Games won the Juvenile turf, but he was disqualified before the race went off, you remember, and then he only ran for prize money or whatever. It was like a big shit show. And so that's why Silver Knot, I think, is only 3-1. I think he should float up a little bit just based on like his form. But he is coming off a win in a grade 3 with a good 102 time form at a mile. So I think you got to include Silver Knot just to kind of as a defensive use, as they say. But I like the 1 and the 4. And maybe you could throw in some of these other horses, like maybe the 6 and the winner is, he won here at Keeneland. Maybe he likes the track. And I'm very busy. I think this is the time to use Chad Brown's horse. I'm very busy. He got that 2nd place last time out, and we all know Chad Brown, like his horse will get 2nd, and then next time out it'll win by 5 lengths. So I think you got to go a little bit deep in here, but just go with kind of the top options and then just, hope one of them hits.
All right. So I think that's it. I think we covered all of that race. I think we covered all the races on Friday. So tough card. Luckily, if you are playing the pick 5 or pick 4, Cave Rock is essentially a single for most of it. You can spread a little bit in 2 big turf races. Give yourself some value there. Cave Rock might drop down to 3-5, but I don't know if he'll get any lower than that. So you should still get value there with how wide open and how big these other fields are. Hopefully we can hit something. Any final thoughts on the Friday card, guys?
Yeah, don't overbet. Don't lose all your bankroll on the first day, and don't be afraid to bet on some longer shots because they're definitely going to hit. Someone's going to hit.
All right, perfect. Well, that wraps up our
the Phillies are banging homers right now.
All right. Well, that wraps up our
baseball update.
Friday coverage. Check back here on the channel. We'll have the Saturday analysis up as well. Good luck to you all, and may the juleps be with you. Take it easy.